All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a cool place here in Auburn. As you can see, the lake is thawing out. That is Lake Auburn. That's our drinking water. My Uncle Dave used to take me fishing here once in a while. Never really caught anything, but it was fun to go fishing. Somebody cared enough to bring me. Oh, look at that. Got a bunch of clamshells. I'm wondering if that's from people that ate those here and threw those there. But there's all kinds of clamshells. Look at them. Nope, those might be legit clams. Legit. There's too many of them. There's a whole ton of clams in there. So last month you could walk out on this. Unfortunately, I can't do that now, but a month ago we could have. So I'm going to start my walking app. All right, I just started my walking app. So anyway, like I was saying, we're at Lake Auburn. That's our drinking water. Well, originally, I wanted to park up where the boat launch is, way up there, and then walk all the way down this way as part of my 5-mile walk. But I got gypped out of my plans because the police had pulled somebody over up there, and they had the boat launch closed. So there was no parking there. There's no place to park in that immediate area, so I just came down here where they have parking. But I wanted to start walking from past that clump of trees over that way, walk all the way up this way, down here to the end of the road and then back. But because they threw me a curveball, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up this way, and then I'm going to go on the hiking trail that goes all the way up past that point out there. So as long as I get my 5 miles in, I am going to have to retie my boots though, but I wanted to walk down this way a little bit. I hate having cars at my back, but we'll stay off to the side here. So I guess this will be a Woods Walk, a Gun Talk number 13, even though I just did a number 12. That title is tentative. There really isn't very much in the gun world to talk about right now. But as you can see, there's not much to walk on here. And I don't want to die today, so I'll go on this side where there's more room. I do remember this little pond here when I was a kid. So it is a beautiful lake. This will be nice when it's all thawed out. So there's not really much to see this way other than what we're seeing now. So I'm just going to head on down the road. I'm going to cross back over so I have cars coming towards me. I can see a school bus coming. Hope you're enjoying the really cool goings on today with the walking. I think so anyways. So we're going to walk like we usually do. I'll stop at the picnic table and tie my boots tight. It was really nice to stop at the Auburn Mall. And it was even nice that I found an Atomic Rooster album I didn't have. Really excellent 70s rock band. Late 60s into the early 70s. Very cool. Now that place I parked here is open from dawn to dusk, so I should be safe parked there while I go for my walk. That's what it's there for. So I want to say hi to V-Man, to you and your girlfriend. Hope everything's okay. If it isn't, I don't know what to say. I never know what to say in times like that. But I do appreciate you watching the videos and the walks. And I'm more than happy to make them. So like I said, I emailed my state senator for Androscoggin County, Democrat Peggy Rotundo, or as I call her, Reputa the Buta. Told her I didn't like the new bill that passed committee on Super Tuesday. When everybody's voting, they decide to pass legislation while nobody's looking in Augusta. And that legislation has to do with abortion rights, giving a, well, what it is basically giving abortion and transgender rights to people that live out of Maine. It would give them sanctuary here to have a minor get an abortion or a sex change without the parents' permission. And I emailed Peggy Rotundo because there's nothing in the bill that prevents anybody from raping somebody or a child and then bringing them to Maine to give them an abortion with no questions asked. So it's actually kind of a wonderland and utopia for these sick people out there. So with that, that's what they did while everybody was voting for Super Tuesday. They were passing that ridiculous legislation in Augusta. So that's what they did, because they can. So anyway, with that, it's basically sanctuary for minors from out of state, and they don't need their parents' permission. That's basically what they passed through committee to be voted on in the Senate. So not very happy about it, and I expressed my concerns to Peggy Rotundo, the Democrat, She doesn't seem to be like the left-wing loony birds, but she's definitely left-wing. Hopefully she understood what I was saying about it. I'm sure she's gotten a lot more messages. Oh, there's a duck. There's a duck out there enjoying the duckiness. 2 ducks. They get some open water. I bet they're happy. So, get this little frozen pond across the way. Boy, that probably would have been pretty good to play hockey on. Never even thought of that. Look at it. Wow. All right. Well, since they wouldn't let me park down the way, I'm gonna go for my damn walk anyway. And if you're watching, welcome. I'm glad you are. Really did have a good time at the Auburn Mall, just walking through it. The old memories. So be sure to check out that video. I am going to make that video separate. So I got to be careful walking around here. Those past storms did a little bit of damage here. Water sloshing up. Erosion. So I don't even know if this trail over here is still open. I don't know if it's closed. I guess we'll find out. According to Google Maps, it's still there and it's still open. So never know these days. They changed that whole entire boat launch area over here, where now you have a kind of a roundabout kind of thing, and you pull into the place. You got 2 places to park, launch your boats. They got rid of the trailer truck rest spot because it was being used for nefarious purposes, which is the kind of thing you get with the Republican mayor. They fix things. They don't make things worse. And if they do, it wasn't intentional. So all right, getting into walking mode now. Again, I'm not walking for time per mile today. Day before yesterday I did. I have a window today till about 5 p.m. Then we're going to get some rain, which is where the sun went today. It disappeared. It was nice. I hear a car coming, so I got to stay over to the left here. Got a nice view of the road here. I can see who's coming. All right. Well, this ain't so bad. Another pussy willow swamp over here. Another huge field of pussy willows back there. Well, that would have been nice to be able to go out on the lake. I missed it by 4 weeks. I should have come out here sooner, but we had snowbanks, so realistically there would have been snowbanks on the side here. I would have had to have done it by that picnic table, which I could have, I guess. But we didn't exactly have the wildest of winters this year, and I'm not even sure I would have trusted it anyway. Even though I have seen plenty of pictures like on Facebook of people that have gone out on Sabattis Lake, or Sabattis Pond as it's called. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is down that way. I'm just walking along, singing my song. Boy, I'm pretty happy about that record. That was a good one to find. Oh, some more clams. Look at that, a bunch of empty clam shells. It's almost like they knew winter was coming when it was coming, and they abandoned their shells and took off. I'm out of here. There's somebody with blue sneakers up here. Seems to be the popular thing now. Wear these sneakers that don't match anything you're wearing for colors. This person's out here exercising. That is evident. We'll leave him alone then. So we're gonna cut over to the left and see if we can get on that trail. I hope it's still here. No bodily contact with water allowed. So that means you wouldn't be able to walk out on it even if it's frozen. Pretty sure that's what that means. Can't contact with the water. That doesn't specify if it's frozen or not, so that means you can't. All right, we got a trail. Contact with water prohibited. No overnight camping, no fires. We can use it though. It's clearly marked, no trespassing sunset to sunrise. So this time of day, it's okay. No motorized vehicles, no feeding of wildlife, no fires, no contact with water, $2,500 fine. Contact with water prohibited. All right, clearly stated, no contact with the water allowed. So I know the entire length of this road that comes here from down there is a mile. So I don't know how far we'll go in here, but you figure I'm gonna double my time because I'll double time back. A little sloshy down here, just a little bit. Just a little slushy. Head down over this way. More uprooted tree damage. I think we have seen a lot of that, haven't we? All right, let's get back on the trail. All right. Had to square away my camera angle. So I'm gonna head down this way. We've got a tree laying across here that obviously fell during that storm before Christmas, like everything else fell before Christmas. I don't even know how long this trail is. I guess we'll find out. We'll just follow along Lake Auburn. Water doesn't do much when it's frozen. Oh, we'll go up this way. Won't go until something tells us we can't. I know there's an open beach-like spot, even though you can't use it as a beach. You don't want to be a son of a beach and use it like a beach. Ooh, look at that. That's quite a ways down. Cool. All the stuff we have right in our backyard. How cool is that? All right. Let's mosey on down the road. The other good thing about leaving the vinyl LP in the car that I just bought is it is not 100 degrees today. The warmest it's going to get today is about 58. In the car it might get 70, 75, which isn't good, but I should be done my walk by then. Some of this ground here is still frozen. Could tell that walking on it. It won't be though, eventually. So I've never been here before. The first time I ever come through here. And I'm glad I'm wearing waterproof boots because it is muddy. A lot of it is frozen, but a lot of it isn't. So let's head on down the road. Ooh, look at this big uprooted tree. That's a big one. Wow. That storm really raised hell. This one's not so bad because there's no power lines here to ruin. Wow, look at the size of that. That pine tree has probably been here for not as long as the one that we have, but it looks like it's been here for a while. That birch tree got bent right over by it. It doesn't look happy. Wow, look at the size of that. Unbelievable. It just amazes me how the tree just pulls right up like that. You'd think they would root deeper than that. Some trees do, but the pine trees, not so much. As I've seen quite a bit of these. Oh. Hop over this. I don't know where this goes. I can see the lake over there. Looks like it's opening up. All right. Boy, this is a mess down here. Just branches and brush all over the place, broken off the trees. My right boot is getting loose. These boots come loose when I'm stomping on stuff like snow and mud and leaves. But just walking on the road, it does pretty well. So they're comfortable. They're staying together. That's a rare thing these days, to buy a pair of boots that actually stay together. Now this tree here fell over and it's lying across, and it looks like it's being held up precariously by other trees. On my luck, it'll let go when I walk under it. All right, there we go. This is that opening. I've seen photos of this online quite often, actually. I might add some new ones. So we'll walk on down here. Still froze. Everything is still frozen. Well, this would be pretty nice. Nice warm spring day. And the water is all watering. Maybe some whitecaps. Let's walk all the way out on this perch. Don't touch the water. Don't touch the water. $2,500 fine. That is our drinking water. It is clean though. I see some more clam shells. Had no idea there were so many clams here. Now I wonder why all those clam shells are there. They can't be there naturally, and I don't think people threw them there. What do I think? I think otters float around on their back eating clams. Just a guess. We have seen some black otters here. We saw one where we go shooting, and we didn't shoot it, of course. It's illegal to do that. And he was just minding his own business. That's all I can think of, because you got all these clam shells, and this here looks like a clump of hair. So that looks like a clump of hair from something. I don't know if it's a skunk. Maybe something got in a fight with somebody. Some kind of animal hair. Don't touch the water. Just don't do it. All right. Gotta find a little perch to tie my boot. So, I do want to talk about the Maine primary last night. I was watching that coverage of it nationwide. Most of the primary season is over now. We have March 12th coming up, March 19th, but pretty much it's getting wrapped up now. Nikki Haley finally dropped out. She announced that not too long before I went for this walk, actually. There's some more hair from an animal. So she dropped out. She's all done. As we look out on beautiful Lake Auburn, Donald Trump didn't just win, he absolutely decimated and dominated. The media is in a panic today. They were hoping for a better showing, and all they got was Vermont. And what happened to Vermont is very easy to explain if you don't understand. Vermont is a bunch of crazy lefty loons. They do things there like the legislature voted on its own to legalize marijuana years ago. And they did so without the voters' consent, and the voters didn't care. So that's they're people that they elected. Okay, fine, that's all right. They also coddle child molesters in Vermont. That's been in the news here quite a few times. In fact, one child rapist convicted of it, he got 60 days. If he could show good behavior in jail, he could be out in 60 days. And that judge was absolutely chastised. And that was back in 2006. So they were way ahead of the curve on this stuff. So anyway, what happened with the Vermont primary for the Vermont voters to miraculously pick Nikki Haley at the percentage? Well, they have completely open primaries there. You don't have to switch parties. You don't have to do anything. You show up and just say, I want a Republican ballot. And that was a bunch of activist Democrat voters wanting to give Trump the finger. And that's what they did. So if that is the Democratic message that they wanted to send, they sent it. It embarrassed Vermont because it's blatantly obvious what they did. And of course the media is trying to spin it into Trump isn't dominating like he used to. But here's the simple truth, folks, and you can research this. Donald Trump is setting a record for a non-incumbent candidate, because he's not the president right now, even though he was before. He's a non-incumbent. He is setting records. This is going to be the most dominant Republican showing ever by anyone. Okay, that includes Reagan and everybody else. And I think the world is starting to acknowledge that by what they witnessed. It was quite the spectacle to see Trump get 71% in Maine, a Democrat state, who had semi-open primary voting. So that showed me that a lot of the Democrats here didn't feel like unregistering as a Democrat to vote against Trump. Wow, look at this. Well, I wonder how much of this was here before the storm before Christmas, because this was not frozen at that time. It had been mild, at least not overly frozen. It looks to me, I'm no geological expert, but it really looks to me like a lot of this ground right here, with those 70-mile-an-hour winds, that they had waves crashing here and it washed that out, and you had those big rocks fall out of the ground and roll down. So it looks like to me, it looks like some of these trees here are just barely hanging on. Like if you were standing there leaning against that tree, it might very well just go over. That looks precarious. It'd probably do something like that. You'd probably get wet and violate the contact with the water law, because it's our drinking water. That does not look safe right here. I'm not going to jump up and down anywhere near that. Well, this is an interesting walk. And every time I go for a walk, I find something new and different I didn't know about. Never seen this here in my whole life. Very cool. Might even be a good fishing spot. A little cove like that. Maybe especially if there's some shade along here on a hot summer day and the fish want to get out of the heat of the sun. Got a little pond over here. This also looks like it would be good to play ice hockey on. And well, it looks like I've come to the end of my trail. I'm gonna go snoop that way a little bit, but I'm not gonna keep my hopes up, because that looks like I would have to cross that and get wet or something. Unless they have a bridge over there, I'm not gonna bother. But this is pretty nice. And I don't see much trailhead over there. And in fact, on the map, it seems to end right about here too. So I don't want to go on private property either, because that's trespassing. But it has to be posted. That's the thing. It has to be posted in Maine. Probably most places. So anyways, That's a pretty nice little place. I am going to get my 5 miles in today. I might have to double back the way I came and walk up the road a piece. But I'll do that until I get 5 miles. I'll check in on the buggy, make sure nobody's breaking into it or something stupid. You never know these days. Alright, let's see what we got over here. Personally, I don't think I'm going to find any way across. That looks like a swamp. That looks like a swamp. I bet you this is pretty mosquito rich in the summertime. I got one of those branches at eye level I was talking about a few walks ago. You're not watching, you could lose an eyeball and get poked in the eye. Alright. Yep, there's a tree down there, but it doesn't go all the way across. I would probably have to walk quite a ways. All right, I hear doves. I had to change out my battery. All right, definitely does not look like any place I can cross here. I'm going to walk a little bit more this way just to make it 1.5 miles, because then when I head back and double back, I'll come out to 3 miles, and then I'll just have to come up with 2. And I didn't have my walking thing on when I was at the mall, so I don't really consider that walking anyways. So this isn't looking like anywhere I want to go. We got a fence marker here with some barbed wire. Look at that. That is old barbed wire. That's been here for a long time. It's obviously a property boundary. So I probably shouldn't go on that. It's somebody's private property. And there's really no place to cross there. And I can see snow up there where the water is. So I would be walking this way for a while. I'll double check that at home on Google Maps. Might be able to get a view of it. But this tree here fell. I don't know what it came off of. I think it's the top of this tree. Not this one here, but that one in the back. Because I don't see a top on it. And that tree is laying here. It's been here a while. There's no bark on it. So that might have been a dead tree top taken out by that storm. And trees do fall anyway, so it's not like a big mystery. So, like that tree right there, looks like this tree right here is just, it's all dead. That could probably fall on its own at any time, over time. All right, so I've seen enough this way. We'll head back. And I'm assuming this golf place at the end of this road that we came off to come on here would still be there. Tabor's, I believe it's called. I'm pretty good at having things in the wrong place, so if that's not what it is, I don't want to hear about it later. Oh, that place you said was Tabor's is not Tabor's. Well, it's a freaking golf place, okay? You can hit golf balls there. You can go there and play with your balls, okay? So that's the point I'm making. There's a golf place. We'll call it a golf place. Make everybody happy. So this definitely has the vibe of, in the summertime, it is going to be a mosquito swamp. I see a whole bunch of these orange flags here. Trail markers, I guess. Well, it's not a bad little spot. Kind of cool view of the lake. It'll be really nice on a spring day when you got leaves on the trees and mosquitoes, especially down this way. Mosquito, the mosquitoes, as I affectionately call them. We already came down here a few minutes ago, but I want to get a view up over here. And we got this tree that fell over here, another tree that fell over here. If you want to know what 70-mile-an-hour winds does, this is it. Okay, we came, we saw, we recorded. So President Trump needs 1,225 delegates, or 1,229, something like that, or 1,295. Somewhere between 1,200 and 1,300 delegates is what he needs. Nikki Haley has 86 or 89 by default, even though she only won 9 from Vermont. That's the way they do that. But Trump is well on his way to win this rather easily. And this is what they tried to steal from people. They tried to keep him off this ballot so he would be stopped. And as you can tell, it's an epic failure. The publicity hasn't hurt him. The criminal trials have actually martyred him. And the media and the Democrats have officially turned him into a folk hero. That's what they've done. Now Trump is one of those, if you want to give it to the man and the establishment that controls your life and makes things miserable for you, vote for Trump. And I'm loving watching it, because all they have left is to kill him. That's all they have left at their disposal, is somebody to assassinate him, because this didn't work. And somebody will try that. He had somebody rush the stage in 2016. His security that he pays for cut them off. They had to rush him off stage in Nevada once. I think it was Nevada or Arizona, I don't remember. Secret Service rushed him off. The media tried to downplay it. You know damn well if that was a Democrat, they'd still be talking about it. One of those crazy Republicans tried to kill so-and-so because they're violent. Well, it's always these guys that do that. So I'm really just hoping if something is attempted, it's picked off early. Secret Service is really good at what they do. So, but it's more effective when you're president. I saw that in person. I saw President Trump a week before the election. It was at the end of October. I think it was October 28th. Something like that. At the airport in New Hampshire. It was wonderful. They had a whole bunch of folding chairs out. We had a long wait in line, and I lost my files for that because I had an iPad that crapped out. Files are still on it, but I don't think they're retrievable because it uses a flash drive rather than a hard drive. Now, when you get an old laptop and it dies and you have files on the hard drive you want, You just take the hard drive out and plug it with a USB into another computer, and you can take all the files off it. Well, didn't have that option. With a flash drive, with an iPad, I'd have to have it serviced. And from what I read, when you have it serviced, what happens is they reboot everything from scratch, and they reinstall the new system. Sometimes you can't save what's on there because that's the way they make them. Something is preventing it from booting and turning on. I followed the directions, downloaded something that would fix it if it was just software, and it said it was a hardware issue. So it could be some little circuit in the board burned out. It could be as stupid as the light for the camera isn't working. That was a common one I found online that caused that. So a lot of people hype up all this Apple stuff and you pay a lot for it, but you don't get everything that you think you do as far as reliability. Now, I do have a MacBook from 2015, still running strong. It's been awesome. By today's standards, the hard drive isn't very spacious. But anyway, went to see Trump in New Hampshire. That was the 4th time I saw him, I believe. The 4th and final time I saw him. I saw him once before he was elected, and I saw him 3 times after he was president. So he was literally 25 feet from me when he was leaving, waving and stuff. It was really cool. And the coolest thing, to be honest with you, I had never seen Air Force One in person. And I'm standing out there on the tarmac, right up towards the front. Here he comes, coming in. You see him coming, he's coming around. But first, the Secret Service sends those Ospreys, those kind of like helicopter plane looking things. And beforehand, you had scissor lifts that went up with Secret Service on the platforms. They had their special vision goggle stuff. And they had what looked like a 50 caliber sniper rifle set up. 2 of them. And they had a spotter scanning the distance. This was before Trump was even coming. They were on it. So I'm gonna head down this way a little bit. So I'm sitting in my seat before going to the tarmac, and I see Secret Service up on the rooftop of the hangar. And this woman that was with the Secret Service brings what looked like a guitar case, opened it up on the ledge, and she took out a long gun, some kind of rifle, sniper rifle. And she was checking out the scope on it, making sure things were there, working, whatever. Probably loaded it up. I don't know what they do, what their protocol is. But it was interesting to watch. I had all of this on video and pictures of it that I lost, which I'm not happy about. So then we end up with, let me get back on the trail here. This is all wet and soupy. So we're watching, and you see the plane coming in over the runway after the Osprey are done snooping things out. Just like when you see Marine 1 and Marine 2, they usually fly together. One of them is a decoy. They never tell you which one the president's on. A security thing. Probably a good idea, because at the time I believed Iran had threatened to kill Trump. So it comes in, it lands right in front of me. Oh, okay, that's cool. All right, I figure it's going to stop down the ways and he'll get out and be transported by the beast, the presidential motorcade. No, the plane turns around and comes back, taxis right up, bang, right in front of me. This big, huge, giant friggin' airplane. It seemed like it was as tall as these trees. Air Force One presidential logo. I got goosebumps. One of the coolest experiences I ever had. And they pull up the staircase. So if you remember a time when a president was actually physically able to walk up a staircase, I got to witness that. Nowadays, Biden uses the service entrance on the rear of the plane where the media came out, when Trump was president. That's where the media came out. So they probably have the media wait until Biden's out of the way, because they don't want it to look like Biden's using a service ramp, even though he is. And now he's wearing black sneakers, hoping people don't notice they're not shoes, because he can't walk with his shoes anymore. So that came out in the media. People aren't stupid. You can see it, you know. So anyway, this plane pulls up. The little door opens. They pull up the staircase. About 15-20 minutes later, I'm standing there watching, waiting. Trump comes out, starts waving to everybody. Right in front of me. It was so awesome. Really enjoyed that. I really did. One of the greatest presidents of our lifetime, and I got to see him. First time I saw him before he was president, I was maybe 20 feet away. He starts out his speech. So today, earlier today, we find out Director of the FBI, James Comey, reopens the email investigation against Hillary Clinton. That friggin' place just went berserk. It went bananas. It was awesome. Now, the thing about that one, I was disappointed because this was before he was president. And Sean Hannity, the big Fox remote truck, was there. They were going to do a live Trump kind of town hall thing about the email investigation. We were asked, they told us, would you people like to stay around after the rally and be on Sean Hannity with Trump as the crowd for the Trump thing? Oh, of course. Hell yeah. So I was down for that. So we're waiting, and it never happened. What had happened is he did a very quick interview with Hannity, and not with Hannity, but he did a quick interview with local media, and then he took off, and I'm assuming it was a Fox affiliate, and he took off. And what had happened that day is he was doing 4 rallies that day, okay, 4 of them, and we had some incredibly bad thunderstorm weather. We had a nasty thunderstorm while I was waiting in line to get in, which took forever, by the way, because that's when he was starting out. And their security team they had were doing things differently than they changed. So you had to walk through metal detectors, you had to take your shoes off, they had to check your shoes, they checked out your phone, and they had all this other stuff. And they even checked my wallet, make sure there's no blades in it, knives or cutting tools. So they were really thorough. So it was pretty obvious to me there had been some serious death threats against Trump at that time, which I didn't know about it at that time. So it ended up taking 4 hours just to go through a short ballroom and kind of a snake line. It took 4 hours just to get past security, and then I had to stand on a concrete floor inside for another 4 or 5 hours. So you go to a Trump rally, they have it down to a science now. In Manchester, we waited in line a long time, but then they finally opened the doors, and you just walk through the metal detectors, give them your phone, they check it over, give it back. It was much easier and much faster the second time I saw him. But anyway, back to the tarmac. He comes down the plane, walks like right by in front of us, like 20 feet. Like right there. There's Trump, the president of the United States, waving to everybody, being friendly, smiling. Then he heads off, does his speech, which I was probably about 60, 70 feet from that. There's a lot of people there. I had a nice chair to sit in. That was nice. Something I didn't have at other rallies of his. So, my boots untied again. So then that rally wraps up. And if you remember the July 4th thing he did, he had an Italian opera singer that he really likes singing. And after this rally in Manchester, that opera music is playing in the background. Beautiful, beautiful tenor. And then he walks by, waves, gets on the plane. You hear that beautiful music. The plane taxis and takes off with that opera music playing. And that was all his show business experience. He made it an experience to go see him. And that was really cool. I will never forget that. I had both hands on top of my head going, oh my God, I can't believe I just experienced this. And it was something really important to me. You know, and part of it I felt was all the persecution he had faced, the impeachments, constant harassment, the threats from people if you wear a MAGA hat, you know, and then you're there in that moment, and it was like you felt this vindication, like we're winning. We knew he was going to win that election. There was no way he could lose that, and he didn't. We had a pandemic, screwed everything up. So anyways, that's my little Trump story. Hope you enjoyed it. And it was a hoot. Now I'm checking my stuff for my phone, keys, wallet, make sure I didn't lose anything, make sure I don't get pummeled by a car. I'm gonna go across the road. I go across the road where I can see cars coming. Got some twisted iced tea here. Litter. Friggin' litter bugs. Probably chucked it out their window. Who knows why? Maybe somebody shouldn't be drinking was drinking. Figure they drink the iced tea, they won't smell it on their breath. I had to hide the evidence. That's all I can think of. Unless somebody just legitimately said, look, hell with it, I don't care, I'll just chuck it out the window. Looks like Dylan Mulvaney's been here. She had a Bud Light. And some Truly Extra. She had some Truly Extra. Wink, wink. So I'm seeing more litter than I would like to see. And, you know, on that woods walk number 12, you know, I had found those old Fanta root beer and Budweiser can, and with the pull tabs, and the whole reason why they made cans returnable for deposit was it was to help with the litter, so people would cash that in for money and the cans could be recycled. I guess that worked for a while, but I don't think anybody cares anymore. They're not really worth anything. They're not keeping up with inflation. They have been They have been 5-cent returnables for cans since way back when. The glass bottles used to be 10 cents, but they don't have those anymore. Now, you get a trash bag full of cans at a nickel a piece. It's not worth anything. You can't buy anything for $10 or $15 anymore. So, you know, I'm seeing more trash. Now, if they raise the price of the deposit, it's going to raise the price of the product, because that's the deal. So, anyway, I just hit 2 miles. Where the hell am I going to squeeze in 3 miles here? This is ridiculous. I might have to bite the bullet and call it a day, because we did go to the Auburn Mall, and I added at least a mile with that. I'm sure of that. I just don't have it recorded. So heard a couple of loud bangs, like a couple of gunshots, and I heard a boom like something blew up. I don't know if that's what it was. Definitely sounded like something exploded. Came across the lake when we were way over that way at that point down there. That's where we just were, way down by that point. So I saw the Auburn police had pulled somebody over while I was on my way here. I don't know what they were doing to get pulled over in the afternoon. Must have been more than speeding. Oh, what is this? What is this bottle of stuff? Ah. It's a bottle of liquor. A glass bottle. Some Jägermeister. Some Jägermeister Meisterburger. Remember him from, I think it was Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I think it was? The Burgermeister Meisterburger. Ooh, I see some ducks out there. Hello, duckies. Ducks are right out there in that open water. Looks like their happy spring is here. It is here early. Showed up with a vengeance. First week of March, for crying out loud. Usually we're getting snowstorms. It's still ice storms and ice. Slushy messes. And we're in the mid to upper 50s today. Without the sun. It's going to moderate a little bit after today, but it's still going to be warm. Warmer than it should be. So I'm going to walk up this road a ways and then double back. License plate from Texas. Somebody from Texas came here. Visiting, I assume. Got a bicycle coming by. Might be that person that was from Texas. Texas. Probably thinks it's quite bizarre to be almost 60 degrees and the lake is frozen. I wonder if people in Texas have ever seen a frozen lake. Must be up in the mountains. Ponds and stuff, I would think. Further south, down on the Texas handle, I don't think so. The peninsula. Well, I just wanted to come out and walk this way. I wanted to see what was going on with that trail. been curious about it. Never been on that trail before. This will be open water soon. Another Jägermeister and Bud Light can. Jägermeister bottle. Twisted iced tea. Another Bud Light can. Somebody around here, it's probably all the same person. Bud Light and Jägermeister and Twisted iced tea. We've been seeing it all over the place. The same 3 brands. It's very peculiar. There's a Bud Light can out on the ice. There's another can. Bud Light. Another Bud Light can. There's a Bud Light can out on the ice there. I noticed that when I walked by there earlier. Can't read it from here, but I could on the other side of the road. Yeah, I don't always have to go for a 5-mile walk. Oh, Bud Light again. There's another Bud Light. Another Bud Light. Wow. That's crazy. It's like Bud Light Central. Another Bud Light. Oh, we got an oddball. This person was straight. We got a Michelob Ultra. We got a gasoline nozzle. Somebody put some gas in. Another Bud Light. Another Twisted iced tea. Another Bud Light. All right, this is freaking ridiculous. Twisted iced tea again. Another Twisted iced tea. Bud Light. Bud Light. Bud Light. Somebody on this road is doing some serious drinking, and I know what brands they like. I mean, come on, man, seriously. What is the odds of seeing as many as I have already? If that wasn't the case. Whew, I got a good sweat going. Oh, I see yellow containers. That's some more Twisted iced tea. If it is, I'm gonna freak, because this is completely abnormal. Abnormal. Nope. It's yellow, but it ain't that. This looks like a quick kind of, yeah. Thought it might have been a Yoo-hoo or something. It looks like quick. All right. Well, Alcoholics Row, I guess we're past that. I'm not seeing any more. Still some more of these alcohol one-hit bottles. A whole bunch of those with those little Jägermeisters. So, I'm gonna walk across here while they're working down there. I'll keep off to the right. Don't touch the water. Yep, that was the Texas license plate. He's got his 10-speed on the back of his truck, his Jeep. Yeah, I'd settle for 4 miles today on my tracker and 1 mile at the Auburn Mall. We'll call it 5 miles. Physically, I can tell when I'm at about 5 miles, and I'm starting to get at that point. I'm starting to get at that point where I know I've been walking between 3 and 4 miles. Wow, that water is so clean. That's why we're not allowed to touch it. That animal fur we saw in the water, though, was breaking the law. It's okay for animals. It's okay for a dirty skunk to go for a bath in the pond. But you can't touch the water if you're a human. Don't touch it. You'll go to the hoose cow. Bush Light. Haven't seen one of those cans in a while. This seems to be Beer Drinker Row right here. Bud Light. Nope, that's a light beer can, but it's not Bud Light. It's got a blue can. I'm not enough of a beer aficionado. And we get some Miller Lite, Michelob Ultra in a can. That's what it was, blueberry. Woodchuck blueberry. Might be some local brew. Definitely beer central though. Bud Light. Wow, that's crazy. Poland Spring water jug. If I had my backpack, I'd throw that water jug in there so we could shoot it. Now we just got Center Street up here. I'm going to turn around and walk back. I'm here for the exercise, folks. So we saw some cool stuff today. I'm going to check my mileage. Well, not having that parking spot messed me up on my walk. That's okay because it's going to rain in a little while. That it is going to do. The clouds are getting thicker. So what I could do, I know there's going to be a break in the rain action tomorrow evening. It's still going to be warm. So I might just go for a walk tomorrow evening like I normally do in the city. So, you know, it all comes out good as long as I get my 20 to 25 a week. Doesn't matter how I do it, really. There's that big boom again. What the hell is that? It sounds like I could feel the air move, compression kind of noise. So I don't know what the hell that is. Heard that the other day too. Might have some kind of giant heavy metal door slamming for some reason or something. Almost sounds like one of those lids on the back of a dump truck when it would slam, but it wouldn't be that loud, I don't think. I don't even know if you heard that at home. Didn't know if you heard that at home on your TV set. Chunks of ice down there. Oh, I can see a caution police line, police tape. So I'm guessing that big tree might have been laying across the road and they just kind of like pushed it over the side. And they left their police tape on it. I hope they didn't touch the water. Sorry, just making myself laugh. All right. Well, whoever was driving that truck made me feel fat because they took an extra wide loop. Like they were afraid to hit me. I must be sticking out 8 feet sideways. Well, the good news is I did live stream last week. It did work. I couldn't get it to go widescreen, but I figured out what I did wrong. Is on my phone itself, I had it locked in that orientation so it wouldn't go sideways on its own. So it wasn't the app. It was me. The other cool thing is it barely used any of my 5G that I pay for. So I get a certain amount of 5G and then it changes to 4G. And then if I really use a lot of that, it goes down to 3G, I think. Slower internet. But I streamed everything for the entire walk I took. And it worked fine for the whole walk and it didn't really use too much. So anyway, there's a Bud Light can. Shocker, huh? Bobbing up and down. Bobbing up and down like Dylan Mulvaney. And we got some clamshells out on the ice. So now that proves my theory. There was something that took the clams out of the water, went up on the ice shelf there and ate it. So that is blatantly obvious at this point. It's right there. Clamshells sitting right on the ice. And a little ways in that open water down this way, or was it over here, I saw a whole bunch of those clamshells with mud partially on them. They haven't been eaten yet. So little clams minding their own business and they're getting munched. They're getting munched. We just saw the evidence. I don't know what was eating them. I don't know if it was an otter. Don't know if it was a beaver. I don't know what the hell goes on out here. Something crazy going on. Another Bud Light can. Bud Light. All right. I think we'll call it a day at 3 miles. 3 miles over here and a mile at the mall. 4 miles, we'll call it good. I don't have the app evidence of that other mile, but I feel like I did some walking. So there's a bunch of clams in there, partially covered in the mud. And it's like a clam festival for animals. The manimals. So I'm at 2.99. A woman in my ear is going to tell me I'm at 3 miles any second now. I think that'll be good for me today. Like I said, I'll probably have an open window in the rain tomorrow. Very rainy this week, so I don't know what I'm going to be able to do for walking. And I did walk in the rain a few times last year when it was misting. I put on a rain parka I have. That was fine. I don't want to be out in downpour type rain because it gets in everything, you know. I don't want to get my phone wet. I don't want to get things wet, you know. I mean, even though I've seen videos on my phone and I know how much water it can take, so somebody chucked it in a bucket, left it there for an hour, and it was fine. So, but after a while the water got into it and did ruin it eventually. It was water resistant, not waterproof. So they do sell waterproof cell phone cases, but that would be probably thick and cumbersome. I don't want to make the phone bigger. So anyway, I got my 3 miles in over here, so that's good. There's all the clamshells right here. I mean, look at them all. If you're an otter, you're gonna have a good day. Look at all the empty ones here. So somebody's been here eating pretty good. And the reason why I say it's an otter is because they go underwater. Okay, that's the thing. They could swim underwater, under the ice. And that ice was probably up to here a couple weeks ago. And so that explains why you get all these shells on the edge. So that otter probably went underneath, dug them out, came back here, sat on a rock and ate them. That's the best I can figure out. Somebody racing up there, I heard that. Motorcycles, or as my dad used to call them, neck breakers, which they are. And it's not you, usually it's the other person, but a lot of times these people drive faster than they should because they're on a motorcycle. I probably would if I was on a motorcycle. Thank you for coming out here and walking with me, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And really, thank you for watching. It means a lot. Click like and subscribe, and be sure to check out the Auburn Mall video on a separate video that I got earlier today while the sun was still out. And I thank you very, very, very much for watching. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye.